Hello students, welcome to the online video lecture of the subject internal combustion engine. Today we will start with the chapter number 7, engine performance. Before start of the chapter we will discuss about the contents which we have to cover in this chapter. First we have to discuss about the introductory part. Next we have to discuss about performance parameter. Then we have to discuss about measurement of performance parameters like power, torque, volumetric efficiency, mechanical efficiency, BSFC, which stands for brake specific fuel consumption, brake and indicated thermal efficiencies. Then we have to discuss about the heat balance sheet, and at the last we have to solve some of the numericals on engine performance and heat balance sheet. So let us start with this chapter, engine performance. We know that job of any internal combustion engine is to convert the heat energy which is going to be generated inside the engine into the mechanical energy. Then what is mean by performance? So we can say that performance of IC engine means that how will it complete the above mentioned job, that is conversion of heat energy into the mechanical energy. So we can say that performance of engine depends on interrelationship between the power developed, speed and specific fuel consumption. Hence the term performance usually means how well an engine is doing its job in relation to the input energy, or how effectively it provides useful energy in relation to some other comparable engines. So we will see what is mean by performance. So we'll take a small example that if I have to describe the performance of my bike, how can I describe the performance? So for describing the performance, I have to consider some of the parameters. Parameters like what is the mileage of my bike, how the suspension system of my bike, how the pickup of my bike. So some of the parameters like this we will consider to describe the performance of my bike or a vehicle. Similarly, to describe the performance of the engine, we have to consider some of the parameters, and from that parameters we are going to come at the certain conclusion that what is the performance of the engine, it is good or bad. That means by using the only one parameters we are unable to describe the performance of the engine. For example, we'll consider first, for the aircraft engine specific weight is important. That means what? By using the only specific weight we are unable to describe the performance of the engine, but specific weight is one of the important parameter for describing the performance of aircrafts. Next, for our daily use vehicles like bikes, car, we know that mileage is important, that is fuel consumption is important. That doesn't mean that other parameters are not important, but important parameter is fuel consumption. Then next, for heavy duty vehicle like truck, tractors, JCB, in these heavy duty vehicles torque is much important. So there you are not going to consider how the fuel consumption is there. If you are getting the more torque, then you can say that performance is good. You are not going to consider the fuel consumption there. Okay, but to overall describe the performance of the engine, we have to consider certain parameters. So that parameters we can say that nothing but the engine performance parameters. Those parameters we have to discuss in this chapter in the details. So by using those parameters we are able to describe the performance of the engine. So what are those parameters that we'll discuss? So these are the 7 parameters. Those are important to describe the performance of the engine. So first parameter is that engine power, second one is mean effective pressure, third efficiency, fourth specific fuel consumption, fifth air fuel ratio which is going to be used inside the engine, as we have discussed specific weight of the engine, and at the last exhaust smoke and other emissions. Now we have to discuss all these parameters in the detail in this chapter. So let us start with the first performance parameter, that is engine power. As we know that any of the engine is basically used for producing the amount of power, because that power is going to be used for our applications. So first main parameter is engine power. So we'll describe this engine power or we'll divide this engine power in the three types, three subtypes. First one, indicated power, second one, brake power, and third one, friction power. Now we'll discuss all these three types of the powers in the detail. So first one, indicated power, which is nothing but IP. Now what is meant by this indicated power? The total amount of power developed by combustion of the fuel in the combustion chamber is called as a indicated power. That means in the simple language we can say that total amount of power which is available inside the engine after the combustion, that power we can call it as a indicated power. Now how to calculate this indicated power? For calculation of this indicated power, the formula is mentioned here. This IP is equals to, one technical correction is there, that PIM instead of question mark multiplication sign is there. At every three question marks multiplication sign is there. So IP, that is indicated power, is equals to PIM into Vs into N into K divided by 60,000. So this formula is converted into the kilowatt. That means whatever the indicated power we will get by using this formula, it is in terms of kilowatt. Okay. Now we'll see whatever the terms which are used in this equation in detail. PIM, what is meant by this PIM? PIM is nothing but the indicated mean effective pressure, which is going to be measured in terms of Newton per meter square. It is shown as PIM, indicated mean effective pressure. Second one, Vs. Vs is nothing but the swept volume, which is going to be measured in terms of meter cube. And next, N is equals to nothing but the number of power strokes per minute which are going to be generated inside your engine. So how to measure this number of power stroke? This number of power strokes, N equals to half of the revolutions for the 4-stroke engine. That is, N is equals to capital N divided by 2. This capital N is nothing but the speed of the engine in terms of RPM. So number of power strokes is equals to N by 2 for the 4-stroke engine, and number of power strokes equals to N for the 2-stroke engine, and K equals to number of cylinders in case of multiple cylinder engine. So this is nothing but the indicated power. So what is meant by this indicated power? This indicated power is nothing but the total power of the engine, which is graphically represented by area of the PV diagram. We have seen the PV diagram in the chapter number 1. So whatever the area which is going to be covered by this PV diagram is nothing but the that indicated power, or the work under that diagram is nothing but the indicated power. So this is about the indicated power. Now we'll discuss second power, that is brake power. This brake power. So this brake power is nothing but the power available at the engine output shaft is nothing but this brake power. So we can say that whatever our useful power which is available at the output shaft is nothing but the brake power. It is the power which can be positively used against the resistive force or braking force, or we can say that our applications. So ideally brake power should be same as the indicated power. That means whatever the amount of energy which is generated inside the engine should be equals to the amount of energy which is available at the output shaft for our application. But some power is going to be consumed in overcoming the friction inside the engine, in the moving parts and other losses. Hence that reduced amount of power which is available at the output shaft is nothing but the brake power. So we can say that whatever the indicated power available inside the cylinder is not same at the output shaft. Some of the energy is going to be wasted during this path of flow of the energy. So similar to the indicated power, we can calculate the brake power using the formula. Brake power is equals to PBM. Instead of question mark, here also multiplication sign is there. Brake power equals to PBM into Vs into N into K divided by 60,000. So this PBM is nothing but the break mean effective pressure. So what is mean by indicated mean effective pressure, what is mean by break mean effective pressure, that we have to discuss afterwards in these performance parameters. Other terms are similar to the indicated power. Along with this formula, we are able to calculate the brake power by using the another formula, that is brake power is equals to 2 pi nt divided by 60,000. So by using both this formula, whatever the value of the power that we'll get, it is in terms of kilowatt. So this T stands for torque in Newton meter and N is equals to nothing but the speed of the engine in terms of RPM. This is about the brake power. And third power that we have to discuss is nothing but the friction power. As just we have discussed that some amount of power is going to be wasted from cylinder to our output shaft. That wasted amount of power is nothing but the friction power. So we can say that it is the power required to overcome the internal friction of the engine. It represents the total losses occurred from the indicated power. So if we have to calculate this friction power, we have to subtract the indicated power and brake power. So whatever the loss is there, that loss is nothing but the friction power. That is friction power is equals to indicated power minus brake power. Now we'll discuss the second performance parameter, that is mean effective pressure. So what is meant by mean effective pressure? This mean effective pressure is nothing but the hypothetical pressure which is thought to be acting on the piston throughout the power stroke and does the work equal to the mechanical work generated per cycle of the engine. We know that when an engine is going to be worked, the pressure inside the cylinder is continuously going to be changed. During the suction, pressure is less. During the compression, pressure is increasing, and during the power stroke, this pressure is going to be built at the higher rate. We'll get the amount of power during this power stroke, and at the last, during the exhaust stroke, again this pressure is going to be decrease. So we know that this pressure is not constant. So whatever the amount of power which we are getting, to measure that we have to consider some of the constant pressure. So this is nothing but the hypothetical pressure. This mean effective pressure is nothing but hypothetical. Means what? This pressure is not going to be act on the engine, but it is equals to the one pressure which we have considered, which will give us the same amount of power which is equal to the actual power. So for this mean effective pressure is going to be used, as the name suggests, mean effective pressure. Now this mean effective pressure is again classified into the two types. First one, indicated mean effective pressure, and second one, brake mean effective pressure, PIM and PBM. So this indicated mean effective pressure is also one of the hypothetical or virtual mean effective pressure acting on the piston and which is based on the indicated power. This diagram will give us the exact picture of how this hypothetical pressure or effective pressure are going to be work. So in this diagram you can see that PV diagram is shown. Here AB and 5 to 1 point is shown. This AB is nothing but the, we can say that, mean pressure which is going to be added. So by considering this square which is shown between PA and PM, so whatever this pressure difference is there, that pressure, that is hypothetical pressure or considerable pressure, that's why it is shown by the dotted lines, and that we have to consider as a mean effective pressure. So we can say that this indicated pressure is also called as indicated mean effective pressure, as it is usually determined with the help of PV diagram taken with the help of indicator mechanism. The area of the PV diagram drawn by the indicator mechanism can be calculated by any measurement method. If we have to calculate this indicated mean effective pressure, one formula is there. That formula is shown here. Indicated mean effective pressure equals to net area of the diagram in the mm square divided by length of the diagram in mm into spring constant in bar per mm. So this is about the indicated mean effective pressure. Now next we have to see that brake mean effective pressure, which is shown by PBM. Similar to the indicated mean effective pressure, this is also the brake mean effective pressure. It is also a hypothetical mean effective pressure acting on the piston and which is based on the brake power, just like indicated mean effective pressure. That means indicated mean effective pressure is related to the indicated power and brake mean effective pressure is related to the brake power which is going to be generated. As we know that power depends on size and speed, it is not possible to compare the engines on the basis of the either power or torque. But by using this mean effective pressure, we are able to compare the different engines on one parameter only. That's why this term mean effective pressure is going to be considered. Okay, so we'll stop here today, and whatever the remaining syllabus is there, that we'll cover in the next lecture. Thank you so much.